Hello and welcome back to LSI F1 Championship. We're today for the Italian Grand Prix Round 2 out of 16. What a race the Italian Grand Prix it is. It's always a very, very monumental and exciting race, to say the least. We're on board with the, I guess you could say, home hero Philemon. Of course, he's not actually Italian, but he's in the Ferrari car. That's what we want to see on top, of course. Let's see what he can do as he comes down the final corner. His teammate Evan struggles to connect to the session, unfortunately. Not looking too good there, and Philemon makes a mistake and loses it out the final corner. That's going to be the Crowley run done, and they're going to have to take that one to the pit lane. We've currently got Sven Nijam, and Luke goes and sets the pace. Reserve drive, of course, for the first time racing in the Alfa Romeo today, and that is a pretty decent lap time, 2/10 ahead of Sven. We've got Quibus in P3, followed by Casper Sky, who is a permanent driver, racing for the first time in the F1 Championship. We saw them a couple times in the summer season, however. Cisco in P5, then further down the order, we've got PJ Eagerpro setting lap times. Of course, Philemon has not yet set a lap time. Benjamin is either retired or they have voluntarily retired from the session. Looks like they've retired from the session, so not entirely sure what happened there, but I'm sure we'll find out later on. Now I'm gonna have a look down here. Could we see Jacob? He's unfortunately invalidated this lap. You know, he's pretty quick though. He has got the record. I recorded it down as an 18.744, but I think that's improved to a 0.6 and 19.7 for David. Splits the top two there. And once again, looking pretty strong in qualifying, David. Let's just see if he can get it into the race. Of course, he was hunting down the leader, Ruleton, in the last race, who's not here, by the way. Neither McLaren's actually here, so they're going to take a bit of a hit to the constructors. Of course, we only scored half points in the last race. So that is an interesting thing to think about, of course. It's still an advantage, but it's not the full advantage that you'd want. 20 points, of course, for a win in LSI. So that meant Ruleton only got 10 points, and Darksoul, only finishing in 10th, got half a point. So they're on 10.5 points McLaren, with no drivers today. Permanent drivers, after all. JJ might join later on in the session, but they're a reserve driver for the F1 tier. And yeah, that's as it will be for now. I'm just having a look who else is going to be on a lap. We could go back on board with Philemon to see where they are. We do have a Mercedes on a lap, actually. That's Jacob. Goes pole position at 19.2. Lovely stuff. 4/10 ahead. Can we get to the 18-second zone? I reckon we can. I reckon we can for sure. Bit more time to find, possibly, but that was a very, very good lap compared to the rest of the grid. We'll go on board now with Philemon to start the lap. Going down to turn 1 now, reaching around about 349 kilometers an hour with DRS, no slipstream. That could change for the race, of course, as they go into the corner. Very difficult to see what they're actually doing, of course, with the spectator bugs, but it is what it is. It's looking pretty tidy so far on the control, of course, for this, and so far so good. Got to have some pretty responsive turning times here. They weren't feeling too confident, as we've seen from their communications, but Philemon's usually a very skilled driver, so we'll see what he can do in this qualifying session, if he can put himself up there. Looks tidy from now on. DRS available, of course. Comes up to Ascari. This is a very daunting corner, probably one of the hardest off the entire track. Gets it done nicely. This is the bit that matters. Bit of understeer, going to have to lift on exit. That's going to leave you a lot of time. You get a lot of loss of top speed down the run into Parabolica, so not ideal for Phil there as he comes down the final corner now. Try and get smooth on the throttle, bring it to the right hand side of the circuit, minimise track distance, get across the line. What's that going to be? And that's going to put them into P6 at 20.1. Not into the 19s just yet. Still could get there. Quite close to getting to that kind of range. We've got a lot to find here. We've got Nifo on a lap as well, but no! Nifo has spun at the end of the lap, and they will not improve. They will not improve. Unfortunately, got a couple of things to check. Sorry for the delay. We're going to go on board with Luke, just as we get ready for a lap, and hopefully I'll be ready to go once we're done. Alrighty, here we go with Luke now into turn 1. Let's see what he can do compared to Philemon. Of course, we just watched a lap time on board with them, but they've overshot the chicane, and that is going to be a lap gone. Don't know how much time we've got left on the clock. Unfortunately, 8 minutes and 19, 8 minute 19 it was. Now it's of course changed after I finally got my sentence out. But yeah, they've still got time to set another lap or two, but they might have to plan this out, of course, with the tyre sets. I don't know how many tyre sets they actually have left, so we'll have to check that one in a little bit. I do need to double check something. I'm really sorry for this. It's quite important for the race. So we'll be back in about hopefully 30 seconds. Alrighty, we're back. Sorry for the delay. Thank you very much for your patience. Now, Sven is on a lap here, and what can they do? At 19.8, we saw them put earlier on in the session. Zach currently holds the top time, as they are also on an improvement. Well, they're on a lap to try and improve very close to the track limits there for Sven in the Alpine. We'll come around the final corner on board with the Dutchman, see what he can do. They've got Dave and Luke and Jacob all to improve against. Everyone scores points in this race, of course, so the higher the quality position, the better it is, and it's going to be a 19.5, just ahead of Luke, but still, Jacob Adamczak is absolutely dominant right now. So Mercedes looking pretty good. Zingy has not yet set a qualifying lap time. We got Nifo setting their first lap time after the spin a minute ago. They finally put it in. The Dutchman, the other Dutchman, now into P3, a 19.595. And that's not an ideal qualifying strategy Nifo's got there. That is, yeah, not ideal. But it is what it is. We'll have to check later on. Alrighty. Now, where else can we look on the grid? We got Quibus in P6 right now on an outlap. And looking good to go. They were almost in DRS range in the last race, of course, in the Netherlands. They just weren't quite there to fight, and they couldn't quite catch up, so It was a tough one for them, but still they showed some good pace. Let's see if they can do a good job here. We haven't got too much time left to go. I would like to go and check in on the reigning champion Zingy, of course, before qualifying actually ends, but not actually set a lap time yet. Of course, Jacob's already been on a lap. I think Zingy's right behind him, so we'll go and quickly check in afterwards. After we've watched with the Haas driver into turn 1 they go, reaching some heavy top speeds, and that is Jacob retiring on their in-lap, sorry. On their in-lap, Jacob has retired. They will not improve. Could that be enough to take pole position? At the moment, I'm kind of looking for a yes. That might actually be. I thought maybe we could get to the 18s, but never mind. I don't know. Time will tell. Obviously, time will tell. Now, we've got the Haas driver coming through. Let's see what they can do through the most technical part of the circuit, I guess you could say, into the first Osmo. Now, through the second one, really try and keep the minimum speed up, keep the momentum going to prevent you having to rebuild those revs and potentially losing the car, of course. Now they head once again to Ascari. It's going to be a very scary corner during the race. A purple sector up by just under a tenth, and they've lost the car. That's going to be all their time, unfortunately lost. And I think that's going to be that one for now. For Quibus, we're going to go and try and watch on board with Zingy. Sorry for skipping through, but my keyboard doesn't quite work when you press the control button or whatever you press to try and go through the grid. But Zingy on a lap right now, not set one yet. They come around the final corner, having to try and set it. And I don't know if they're going to get another lap in. They've actually opted to go back into the pit lane, and they're going to try and put maybe a fresher set of softs on. They're not happy with that lap. It's not worth staying out. So they're just going to have to try, get one final lap in, and whatever that final lap is, they will have to set Igor Pro on an out lap. We'll watch on board with Igor. We've also got Luke on an out lap as well, but Igor currently is the one to watch, as he has a Ferrari moving out the way just up ahead. And Philemon, of course, we didn't actually see the lap, but he has improved up to a 19.8, right behind Quibus, but not too far ahead of Cisco. Margins are pretty close between each driver, except from Jacob, of course. Let's see if he will have the race pace, though, for sure. Unfortunately, making that mistake on the in-lap isn't ideal. Igor Pro heading to the final corners of the second sector. Up to Ascari they'll go. What can they do here? Looking like a 4/10 improvement. So they're looking for a possible 19.6. That would put them quite far ahead, actually. Maybe a 19.7. Let's see what they can do into the final corner now. They got a car up ahead, but it shouldn't be enough to cause them any bother. Round the final corner. Try and keep the... Oh, no, they're not going to go to the right-hand side. Going to lose a bit of time for that one. Oh, and they're invalid. They're invalid. They're invalid. That would have been a 4/10 improvement, but they went off the circuit. I don't believe it. I do not believe it. We got Casper. Cisco will be on laps. Zingy is on a final out lap. We've got Sven on laps as well. We'll watch on board with the Alfa Romeo, and then we'll go on to the rest of the grid. We are actually going to watch on board with their teammate who's just up ahead. Then we'll quickly skim back to Casper Sky, see if he can try and improve against his current teammate today. They got a car up ahead. Zingy weaving to warming up those tyres, but he has got to get a move on. He's got some fast cars coming through. As Luke comes around the final corner, is he going to challenge for pole position here? It looked like it was going to be possible earlier on. Will it be possible now? And it's not. It's very, very close in the end, but it's not. Where can Casper Sky put them? Cells, and I don't think they've improved. No, they haven't improved. We got Sven, Nifo, all on laps. Where's David? He is a little bit further on into the lap. We got guys that are sat at the back of the grid right now. He hasn't even set a lap yet. We'll watch on board with Sven for the final time now, as guys that puts himself into P11 of 20.3 in qualifying. Getting a bit intense right now. I don't think Luke's going to get another lap in, of course. And who was that just moved up? Was that Matthew Riley? I don't know. Eyesight doesn't go too well for that one. For me, Casper retires from the session. And as we head now... Oh, not a nice one on the in-lap once again for Casper Sven. In P3, trying his best to watch on board until Sector 2, see if he's going to be improving or not. Through the second Lesmos, cuts as much as he can to get away with, keeps the momentum up. Is it an improvement though? Not sure how tidy the first Lesmo was actually. Nothing they can do about it now. They're improving by a little bit, but they're still going to need to find a lot of time if they want to actually go for anywhere near pole position here. Zingy's going to come around the final corner to try and settle up. There goes Luke. Zingy goes across the line. What's it going to be? Oh, and it's not even going to be anywhere further up the grid. They will start really far back. Now, Sun crosses the line, and it's not going to be enough to improve further ahead. It'll be enough to defend from behind, but it doesn't matter. Davin will not improve. No one else is going to improve. Dougie Falcons, Nifo, either. They are all at the back. Of course, Kuba's retired from the session. And Jacob Adamczak on debut for the F1 Championship is going to take pole position. I saw a time trial and it looked like it was going to be pretty much set for quali. Let's see what they can do in the race though. Well done to the Mercedes. Zingy though, looking a bit in bother at the moment at the back of the grid. Nice little intense qualifying to get us started, warmed up ready for what is one of the most exciting races, of course. Let's see what we can do. That's Jacob Adamczak getting pole position, Luke in P2, and then Sven in P3. Two Dutchmans right behind him to keep him company. We'll skim through the rest of the grid, and then what we're going to do is have a look through the driver section of the race director and the instance just in case, and then we'll be back for the race. We'll see you in a bit. Hello everyone and welcome back to LSI F1 Championship. We're today for the Italian Grand Prix, just getting warmed up on the formation lap with Jacob leading the way in the Mercedes. On the hard tyre they start. Okay, interesting, very interesting. Could be worth a shot though, and they have no cars ahead of them to cause them any damage, so as long as they keep safe behind. We'll have to see how they get off the line though, of course. We've got Luke to follow them right behind, Sun in P3. Then we have David, Nefo, Dougie Falcons in P6. We've got Kribus in P7, Cisco, Phil, Matty Riley in P10, although I believe that might be the AI unless they did manage to get into the lobby after all. Casper Sky in P11, Iga Pro, Geisler, PJ Zingy in P15, struggling to set a lap time, and Benjamin, of course, retiring earlier on. JJ, unfortunately, not able to join us for today's race. Let's have a quick look at the tyre situation with everybody. We've got David going for the aggressive soft tyre to start this race on. They're going to be going for about 5 to 7 laps on these tyres. That's when they start to drop off. After that, it's going to be a little bit more difficult, although with the DRS trains, you might be able to save quite a bit on those tyres. Looking at the hard tyre runners, we've got Jacob, of course, the pole sitter, Nifo, we have Phil, we have guys for the PJ Zingy. Everybody else is on the medium tyre. So the medium tyre is the standard strategy to start on. The hard tyre, you've got to really bet on not being involved in a crash to start the race off, of course. Davin trying to go really aggressive, maybe hope for an early safety car. Let's see what Davin can do. This is going to be an interesting one. Very, very interesting indeed. I'll get rid of that. And we're going to get lined up on the grid. I'm ready to go once again in LSI. Just getting warmed up for the final time. A little bit loosey-goosey on the rear there for Luke. Alrighty. Hold your breath, clench your butt cheeks, because we're about to go racing. Who's gonna get it off the line? Slight delay, and finally they go! They go! The Alfa Romeo looks good off the line. Oh, Jacob struggling with the hard times, trying to fend off Sven, but watch out for David going to the outside. He covers him off as well. Just about side by side, but no, the Alfa Romeo takes his Sven, swoops his way around the outside. Nifo is right up there, and that's, oh no, Dougie Falcon's actually off the line on the medium tyre. No surprise. Jacob all the way down to fourth, trying to fight his way back through on the inside, really getting close to the grass. He is going to fight it. There's contact between them. There's contact, and Dougie Falcons is round. I don't believe it. 5-second time penalty for Philemon for gaining a position off the track. That's not ideal. Davin sits in P4 after all of that. Quibus Zingy up to P6 from P15 to P6 in 2 sectors. 2 sectors, and Nifo struggling with that hard tyre, as we saw Jacob doing a similar thing. He's managed to hold on, but I do fear for Jacob. Did he make contact with Dougie and possibly get damage after that one? I don't quite know. They're trying their best to go side by side. Wasn't going to quite work into the first chicane, or the second chicane, of course. Not ideal. Now, we have everybody holding on right now, but the top two are Luke and Sven, of course, on the medium tyres, running away with it at the moment. We got Davin getting overtaken by Jacob, and that's no surprise. Davin got to use these soft tyres. Jacob, is he going to try and go aggressive? No, he's just going to hold on behind. It's worth it at this stage. If he can work together with the fastest driver on the grid, that will help him absolutely a ton. Now, we have Quibus right behind. They've got Zingy for company. The two Mercedes having a, well, I say good start. Zingy had an amazing start. Jacob not quite the way he wanted it to begin. And that's Matthew Wiley into the pit lane retiring. So there's going to be no safety car. Wanted to quickly skim through to see if we could see, but nothing will be seen right now. Looking at the gaps, it's all pretty even at the moment. Nobody really in a position to actually get any overtakes done. Unfortunately, Philemon and Geisler have all had to lose a bit of time, which is not ideal. Bit interesting, but it is what it is. DRS will be available for Jacob, but not Davin. Sven as well, but not Luke. That's going to be an interesting one to see, of course. But no overtakes right now. Zingy's lost DRS range here, actually. They could be in a bit of trouble. We got Nifo very close to the back of Cisco. Nifo losing position after position on the start here, really struggling, as that is a fastest lap there. Lovely stuff. Is DRS available already for the top two? No. It's going to be available very, very soon, though. We've got David really got a bit of pressure. He needs to either catch up to the guys ahead on these soft tyres, or he's going to be absolutely swarmed by everybody behind. He is gonna be in trouble. And that Philemon also retiring in the pit lane. Both Ferraris out with just 3 laps. The home team is gone. No points for Ferrari today. I do not believe it. Another race where they struggle. Oh, no, no, no. That's not what we want to see at all. Not what we want to see at all. Bad luck strikes again. Did David get the DRS on the car's head? No. He didn't get the DRS, but he's close-ish. If he can try and push into Ascari, then he'll be good to go. The top two are going to be fighting hard, though, as we get, for the first time, down the start-finish straight. We've got a final corner to go. Don't know if there's going to be any overtakes further back of the grids beforehand. I don't think so. We won't be able to see anything. They're all just in a train trying to fizzle out a little bit. Can't fizzle out too far, though. You will lose a lot of time. Now, Luke going to get the pressure for the first time as Sven in the Alpine is going to be hunting him down. Is he just going to go straight for the move straight away? Or is he just going to hold off for now? He's going to go to the outside as Luke goes defensive. Goes back to the racing line as he realises Sven's not going to push for it. Jacob goes for the move on Davin, as Davin is on lap 4 on those softs, so he could actually be dropping off in a couple laps. That's actually a pretty wise one. He loses the rear, and Quibus goes through anyway. So Davin, after being in P3, is losing time after time, and he's got an issue. Got an issue. Losing more lap time. Has he got damage? I don't know. He's going off the circuit to try and avoid the cars. He seems to have some sort of problem. I'm not sure what is it. Can't change gear. This is a first that we've seen. Now he's changed gear and he's good to go. Guys, his teammate goes off circuit a minute, and EagerPro, a bit squirmy on the exit of the pit lane. Not looking ideal there. Back to the race. Leaders though, and Jacob is actually closing a little bit up to the top two, of course, on that hard tyre. So they're in a very, very good position here, and that is unfortunately PJ making a mistake at Sky. They stay in the race, so they will carry on. Now, looking back at the race leaders, let's see what Sven's intentions are. He's not intending on pushing anytime soon, just working together with Luke at the moment. He knows that if he does fight a little bit too much too early on, he's going to allow this guy to catch up, and obviously in qualifying he proved how quick he actually was compared to the rest of the grid. Quibus is right there. Quibus, what are they on the mediums as well, so they're doing a pretty good job at the moment. Zingy, unfortunately, not able to catch up to these guys. It looked like he might have had a chance, but it's not going to be possible, and another voluntary retirement from the session. Sound bug, cannot hear the engine. Oh no. And Philemon also had the same issue apparently. So that is 2 drivers retiring due to a sound glitch. It's not ideal. Not ideal at all. Well, we were going to have a look at Zingy, but not for the moment. These guys escaping just very slightly now, of course, with the slipstream, with the DRS that they're working together with. Sen's not in any rush to try and overtake Luke here. And, of course, the pit window isn't going to be until a couple laps' time. So they've got plenty of laps to actually wait. And that is Quibus having a look on Jacob. Jacob's not going to fight it. They're on the medium tyre. They make a bit of contact, unfortunately. He's going to have to let the position go. But yeah, Quibus on that faster tyre at the moment. If they can hold on to the DRS, maybe catch up to the guys as well, then that will help Jacob as well. He's got to be really smart about this, of course, because it's just going to make his life a lot easier later on into the race. Also, with being on these hard tyres, he also has a set of mediums to go later on if there is a kind of mid-race safety car, late safety car-ish kind of area. So, yeah, we'll have to see how that goes. I think you can do, is it up to 15 laps on the mediums? I'm not quite sure. I'm not quite sure. But the race leaders are carrying where they are. I didn't see who just dropped down. Was it Cusp Sky? Unfortunately, he's in a few positions. I'm not quite sure. Nifo and Siska are pretty close together right now. And Dougie Falcons, Nifo's teammate, is catching back up to these guys. Getting back through the pack slowly but surely after their turn 3 incident at the start of the race. No movement for these guys. Jacob right behind, but doesn't need to bother about pushing at the moment, although 2.6 seconds is now the gap between these guys. They are looking losing a bit of time, and Jacob makes once again contact with the rear of the Haas. That's not ideal. Very off-putting for the car ahead. You don't feel like you can push. Also, if you're not careful, you might gain a bit of time. And he had to lift, and look who's going to be nice and close. Zingy on the hard tyre as well, starting at the back of the grid in P5 from P15. So doing a phenomenal job. And Cisco trying to hold on. Nifo tries to go side by side, but it's not going to work. Cisco was ahead. And Nifo has to cut the chicane. Apparently he's got away with that. And he's going to try and maintain the position. That's an interesting one. I didn't quite get to see it. I'd like to see a replay. Nifo making a mistake on exit though. And Cisco's going to go through anyway. DRS will be to his advantage as well. Dougie Falcon seeing this battle up ahead, hoping that they slow each other down just a little bit more so he can get into the battle, of course. Further down, we don't have too much of a battle. But of course, everybody's not mega far away. There could be a battle that brews a little bit later on. The top two, of course, I assume aren't going to be doing anything very exciting. These guys might have a little bit of a different situation going on, of course, as they are teammates, might try and work together. Jacob's going to look for a move here, and I assume they're probably going to try and slow down the Haas and allow Zingy to catch up. They go slightly defensive, of course, taking that line, trying to make sure that they allow their teammate to catch up in the most easy way possible, but loses it on the rear. Struggling on the throttle for Zingy. I think he might have dipped a rear wheel in the gravel into the grass, and he loses automatically all that time that he's just gained. Now, looking at the tyre situation, is Jacob just so quick, or have the mediums actually switched around right now? We'll have to see. Does Jacob catch up to the guys ahead or not? That is the question that we will have to find out very, very soon. DRS available for Kuba, so he won't lose too much time to Jacob. But look at that time. It has closed a little bit, I have to say, for Jacob. So he's pretty confident around this circuit. We knew it from time trial. But he's got some good race pace on him as well, especially on these tyres. Straight line speed is looking alright. It's looking there, but of course the guys up ahead, they do have a bit of a toe. So it's going to help them massively. And they're just working together really, really nicely here. Ben doesn't need to worry. They're just relaxed. And of course Luke in turn will also be pretty relaxed because they know that they're not going to get challenged. Now, Jacob didn't particularly gain too much time. And of course they've lost a lot of time on the start-finish straight. But they did just go and put a fastest lap of the race in. Now, it's not really a grip-dependent track too much, Monza, as long as you can keep up the speed. Although the low-speed chicanes, you do have to really get on that throttle. So it's not really too much of a surprise that he's able to set a pretty quick lap time on a harder tyre at this stage of the race, at least. But we'll have to see how it goes. They are just pretty rapid anyway. 7 tenths is now the gap that Queeb has to the rest of the, or not the rest of the field, Jacob, and gapping a little bit. You can hear the wind as they reach maximum velocity in those cars. Zingy seems to be struggling a little bit here, not having too much fun with the high speed. Not sure what wings they're using. Maybe they're struggling. They're also definitely struggling on ERS, so not an ideal day for Nifo. A bit painful to watch. And not Nifo, Zingy. Nifo and Dougie Falcons here, they are nice and close together here. So Dougie's going to get the DRS off their teammate, blasting the ERS as well. So they're struggling on the ERS a little bit. So quite a few people maybe doing the same thing. Now, Cisco, have they pitted? Well, we'll have a quick look at the tyre situation. They have pitted. That's why they've lost so much time. We're going to have a quick look at the time penalties a minute. And then 3 seconds for both Benjamin and EgaPro. And we'll leave it on the tyre situation for now. Now, we'll have to see what these guys do later on. Of course, Dougie is on that medium tyre. So by the time he catches and is able to make a move on Nifo, his tyre's going to be dead. I don't quite know. They've still got another, well, I don't know, 5 laps maybe. I did do research and I completely forgot what the tyres are like life-wise, but these guys don't really need to worry, and they're not losing any time to Jacob. In fact, they've probably gained, maybe maintained the gap to the Mercedes. So medium tyre life is about lap 12 to 14. There you go. And hard tyre life is about lap 15 to 17. You can probably go longer though if you really save it. I doubt that is even a question. But Luke decided to go for a pretty early pit stop. Are they going to try and go early on to a set of hards as they spot a gap in the traffic? Maybe, I don't know. It's an interesting time to pit, as I was just talking about that. But they do head to the pit lane. And there you go. In they go. Out they come. Onto the white wall tyre. And they're going to come out. Oh, they're going to have a couple cars near them. PJ is going to overtake them on the exit. They warm up their tyres. But, yeah, they're going to lose a little bit of time possibly as coming out right behind. They're going to have time to warm up their tyres, of course. But we'll have to see. Maybe they can get a good undercut here. As we see Cisco going on the attack on Benjamin. Benjamin goes defensive. Locks up, goes very, very wide. There's contact between them as Cisco tries to get the switchback. But unfortunately, a little bit of a misjudged moment. Didn't get to quite see it too well. Kaspersky struggling at the back, unfortunately, at the moment. Sven leads the way now by a pretty big gap. But look at this. Now DRS has been lost for Sven. He's all of a sudden 2.5 seconds behind. He's got no toe like they did a minute ago. Working together, of course. All of a sudden, he's hit a bit of a wall. Without that DRS, the amount of drag that you get, it's just so increased. You lose quite a bit of straight line speed, top speed especially as well. You max out a lot sooner. So, Jacob, pretty rapid in a straight line, it should be said. And of course, their tyres are only going to be getting better. By the time Sven pits, once his tyres are pretty old, Jacob will be looking for the peak time on his tyres probably. We'll have to wait and see how it all turns out. We'll see who has saved their tyres well enough. That is unfortunately a Cisco making a mistake on the exit of Parabolica. Don't know if that is a bit of damage for them or not, but I'm still really interested to see what these guys are doing with the gap. Of course, Jacob is closing. He was going through the Lesmos and closed a little bit more time, so I think actually all around the circuit he is just quicker so far. We'll have to see if his tyres, if his strategy is going to work. You'd like to think it would, an alternate strategy, wouldn't you? We'll have to see. We'll have to see. Dougie Falcons is actually quite close to, of course, Sven going into the pit lane, getting a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. He's going to pray there's going to be a safety car or no safety car at all. To capitalise on that one, Zingy gets fresh air. It's a Mercedes 1-2, believe it or not. And Dougie Falcons, what I wanted to say, is he going to try and go for a move on his teammate? Or is he just going to wait behind? Of course, his tyres are only going to get slower and older this stage on this point onwards. So is he just going to hold in the DRS, make these tyres last a little bit longer, make them go a little bit faster when you get the toe, and then go in later on, see if they can get the undercut. Of course, they're going to be good to go towards the end of the race. Everybody currently on the hard tyre making a couple jumps. PJ not able to make the jump, or they've actually been just overtaken by Luke, of course, as we saw them exit the pit lane pretty close together. Luke has finally got his tyres warmed up and he's good to go. Sven not too far away, and that was the disadvantage that Luke had by being in the traffic, of course. So yeah, not ideal for Luke there. Sven was actually able to do something about it, although they still need to try and get past the Williams and also warm up their tyres. They pitted one lap later, which does mean their tyres are going to be a little bit chilly. Now, I'm wondering if these guys have pitted a little bit earlier, lap 11 to 12-ish kind of area. Maybe we're going to see pit stops on lap 15? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. For the hard tyres, it could be very, very soon. It could be a little bit later, 16, 17-ish, as they want to go onto the mediums. Or if they really want to blast it onto the softs, They could go a little bit longer. Maybe go to lap 21-ish area kind of territory. Sven is going to make the move on PJ as they come round. Oh, he's still trying to fight it possibly, but they had to give in eventually. As there's a little bit of contact, but Sven really needs to push it, especially that time penalty that he's got to minimise damage with. He needs to get the DRS on his rival here today. Otherwise, he's going to be in a big bit of trouble. He's got guys up ahead, Luke. So these guys could slow each other down as they go through the corner. Sven's got to take that into consideration. Losing so much time, though, on the DRS without the tow as well. Purple sector for Luke. Geisler gets a 3-second time penalty as he's trying his best to keep the Alfa Romeo behind. Alfa Romeo looking for a move possibly early on. He knows where the DRS detection point is. He's made contact. Could that be damage? And that's going to allow Sven to catch up. Sven Nijam is going to be right there. Right there. What's going to happen here? Goes for a purple lap as he managed to beat Luke in the end. They're going to go side by side? No, they're going to hold it for now. DRS still might be available for Sven. We'll have to see, but that could maybe be damage for the Alfa Romeo, although he looks like he could have just got away with that one. That is an interesting situation to be in. Dougie Falcons, as I said, I think he is just sitting in the DRS at the moment. No need to really worry his teammate. At this stage of the race, and Geisler goes off the circuit. Sven's going to take that position. Thank you very much, he says. And now Sven is going to have to try and hunt his way through to catch up to Luke. As we saw, though, of course, did he get the DRS then? No, just missed out, unfortunately for him. But as we saw, of course, as soon as Luke moved out the way and Jacob got into P2, promoted into P2, he actually gained a lot of time. So it's an interesting situation to be in. Jacob goes to the pit lane. Looks like Sven might be able to do enough here to get the DRS. We see Nefo stays out as Jacob onto the medium tyre. As I said, around lap 15 to 16 kind of area, you know. That's where we're going to kind of look at the pit stops according to where everybody else had pitted. I thought they'd have tried to go a little bit longer maybe on the hards. Oh no, actually, lap 15 to 17 is pretty much standard, as that is Jacob coming out right behind PJ, this time on fresh mediums, and they're going to be able to warm them up pretty quickly, and they're going to have a very, very nice advantage. PJ still on some pretty old tyres, wanting to pit very, very soon. They got Sven right up ahead as well, so apparently Jacob is in a very good position as well, with Sven, of course, with that time penalty. Luke trying his best to hold on. Got the slightly warmer tyres, but worn tyres as well, as Sven is actually very, very close. Dougie Falcons in P3, clinging on to the DRS at the moment, really making these mediums work. I have a little suspicion that Dougie might be attempting a medium soft. That could be a possibility here as he holds on to the softs. This could be either a terrible idea or an absolute masterclass. We'll have to see how it follows through. Zingy into the pit lane, follows his teammate one lap later, no surprise there, and goes into the pits for a set of mediums. Pretty standard strategy, and let's see where they come out of the pit lane. They have got Nifo into the pit lane, releasing Dougie now into the lead, as Sven has to go for the move with that time penalty. He has no choice other than to push, of course, with Jacob getting close. Forces the room, leaves the room to Luke. Now, let's see who gets a good enough run. Sven not looking good on the others, of course, as they push to catch earlier. And we've got pressure, but I still don't think he's going to be close enough to make a move. Slowly goes to the racing line. Does Luke a little bit cautious there. Jacob is only going to be catching these guys, then knows what he has to do. It's just, can he get it done? Can he get it done? With that time penalty, it's going to be so difficult. You have to decide, do you keep the car behind in the DRS? It's difficult for the car behind them to make a move, or do you push with your absolute best lap times. Oh, that was very, very scary, I will admit, around the corner. Like a Scary, don't really want to be going for a move at that corner. There's a lot more safer opportunities to go for it, unless you really have to take the risk. Goes to the outside line. Does Luke now. Sven's looking for a move, very aggressive this time. First stint, we saw it very conservative. Has the DRS, of course, he knows that. He doesn't have the ERS, so he's going to have to use the DRS to his advantage. Is he going to look for a move? I'm sure it's going to be possible. Here comes Jacob. Jacob right behind, watching these guys here. Into the corner, there's slight contact as they go slightly deep. That's going to allow the Mercedes to get through. There's a wheel bang between the two. Luke doesn't want to give up the position. There's Sven with no ERS. Has to bully his way through to try and get through the very, very slow Alpine. A sitting duck. And now they're going to go into the corner. Sven is going to be in trouble here. They go side by side. This time, Sven manages to get the advantage. He takes the corner. And Jacob's going to have to sit behind. Very, very good stuff here. Very, very close, but just about fair there. Wow, that's pretty impressive. Jacob doesn't really have too much to worry about at the moment. I'm surprised they took that risk by going for that move there. They do need to get past these guys, but obviously with the time penalties and the lack of ERS they have from pushing each other, they're going to be in a big lot of trouble. We've got Quibus and Zingy going to be fighting. Dougie Falcons, as I said, does go for that soft tie. Going to be extending it a little bit, so they're going to be in a bit of an interesting situation. They have overtaken Nifo. They're going to try their best to catch up 9 seconds on Zingy and actually get the move done later on with these guys, though, as they go once again into turn 1. This time Jacob is going to have a look. Sven forces Jacob to go a little bit of an awkward line. Jacob does get the move done, doesn't decide to go for Luke just yet. Of course, Luke, if he can get one at a time, it's just going to be a lot easier and a lot safer. Doesn't need to go for a double move. There's a slight tap with Sven as he outbreaks himself just a tad. But that's not ideal for Sven. He's really, really been bent over with that time penalty. He did gut it, unfortunately, so it does look like a tough moment. But Sven's still there in that DRS. This is his moment, actually. This is his moment to save on the ERS. Save the ERS while he's in a slight train and get the advantage. Jacob's going to look for a move, and he's got to hope that Luke doesn't fight him too hard. Of course, Jacob's tyres, they're going to be good to go to the end, but they'll be slightly more worn or slightly less on the pace than the hards. In theory, at least. We do know Jacob is absolutely rapid. Very, very close. Going to get the DRS. Don't think it's even any point of using the ERS here. Pretty much everybody's going to be using the same setup, at least on wings and probably on the right eye as well. Tyre pressures might be slightly different for each driver. Does make the move, and Sven gets back through. Lovely stuff. Oh, a bit of deja vu and a bit of contact is just about keeping it at the wall. Just about. Once again, we see some very, very interesting side-by-side action. At Monza, is he going to go for the dive? Just about leaves enough space as he slightly backs out. Now he goes into the first Lesmo. Goes defensive just for a moment, a split second, but has to back off. Sven really wants to get into the DRS of Jacob and sit behind and not be stuck in the train of Luke. They've got to be careful here, though, because of course they got the 2 cars behind, Zingy and Quibus, who are going to be catching the harder these guys fight. And that 5 second, it's not a 3 second. It's quite a big penalty, believe it or not. So yeah, they're going to lose a lot of time here. Dougie Falcons, if he can make these tyres work, he's going to be in a bit of trouble. That's Casper Sky losing positions as they make a mistake into the first Lesmo on the exit and going slowly into the second one now. Sven's really close, used a little bit of the train to save on the ERS, but not really much to use. He is slowly catching, however. He'll have to send it on the brakes if he wants to have a go on the Alfa Romeo, and he is going to send it round the outside. Is it going to be possible? He's done it! He's done it! What a move! Luke has to back off as he's caught napping. Round the outside goes the Alpine, but look at the sitting duck once again. It's not working. Tries to push him as wide as possible. Eager Pro retires on the exit of the second last motor. There's a safety car. It's a safety car. Who got the position? I think it was Luke. I think he was just ahead as they went into the corner. And I do not believe it. I do not believe it. A safety car is deployed. Jacob actually wouldn't need to really risk anything here, although everybody could go for a set of softs. The brilliant news for Sven is that he's going to be able to serve that time penalty. He's going to lose a bit of time, unfortunately, so he could be in trouble. Wow, this could be an interesting situation. Unless it's a VSC. It's a VSC. It's a VSC. It's not a safety car. Some drivers might gain from this. Of course, Casper, making that mistake, will be able to have a look at a fastest lap. But other than that, they're just going to cool their tyres down, get a little bit less wear on them. And that's probably going to be it. Is Jacob going to go to the pit lane? No, not worth it. Sven, I assume not as well. Might have been an idea to go for a set of softs, but I don't think so. Not really. Not really worth it. DRS once again enabled. Now Sven was able to save a bit of ERS. That is a benefit that he just had. Wasn't able to go for another send, but he has been able to save. Look at all that ERS that he's been able to save actually during the VRC. Luke's going to have to been able to do the same. Everybody is going to be able to have done the same. Unfortunately for him, Zingy's catching and bringing Quibus with him. Dougie Falcons is a bit of a ticking time bomb. Is he going to be close enough to have a move, or is he just going to be a little bit too far away for when those tyres do hit a cliff? I don't quite know. Will he be able to get to Sven? At the moment, it's not about Sven getting a podium, unfortunately. I hate to say it. It's about damage limitation here. And Luke, up ahead, is dictating that if he fights him hard or not. Luke doesn't want to lose the position to Zingy, of course, and Quibus. They're both right there. Quibus on that hard tyre, so he's more or less equal with both Luke and Sven. Zingy more or less equal as they go for the send on the inside into Parabolica. Go for it early. They do get the DRS as they're right behind, so they'll have the huge advantage, and that was very, very well played there for Sven. Has a bit of ERS to play with as well, but spamming the ERS goes Luke to the outside line, and a bleed off the brakes to try and go side by side. Has to give the space at that point. Very, very minimal, but just about perfect. And look who it is. Look who's come knocking. Zingy. Zingy's going to have a look to the outside line. He's trying to push him off track there. Goes to the inside now. Zingy spots the opportunity. Goes to the outside line. Lifts off a little bit to let these guys go through the corner. Can he get a good exit here in the Mercedes on the medium tyre? He knows he has to really defend into that corner. It's a tough situation to be in for Zingy. He can do an absolute madness here, but I don't know if it will be possible. DRS will be available, but the train is going to be intense. ERS not available for Sven, because once again he is a sitting duck in that straight line, using the ERS to make the move, but nothing left to defend. Quibus is right behind these guys, just trying to pick up the scraps. Saw Zingy going for the moves to see maybe he could have a bit of a bite at the cherry. I don't quite know. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. Zingy very, very close here. He hasn't been with these guys for a while, or at all, I should say. DRS available. ERS, I don't quite know. That he knows that Sven is flashing. He knows he's going to be in a difficult position. Goes to the inside, but they're going to have to wait for now. This is a terrible moment. Terrible moment for Luke. Luke wasn't able to get it this time. A good exit on that medium tyre for Zingy to the outside line. He's going to have to go. Tucks back into the slipstream momentarily. Now has another look into the braking zone, but Luke holds on, and they're just going to have to wait once again. So difficult to get past the Alfa Romeo. They know that they don't actually need to pass Sven at this point. Of course, he's close enough. He's not really losing too much time with the ERS as well, although he's saved a little bit at the moment. He's not losing too much time at all. So that does allow Luke to relax here and just sit in the DRS, and that will make it so difficult for Zingy to get through, although it will make it extremely hard for Luke to get back through if Zingy does manage to get through. What we've seen in the past is Zingy always finds a way. It's going to be so difficult here. But is it going to be possible? We know he's got the traction advantage. Straight line speed, though, is pro Luke at the moment. It depends who's got the most ERS left to end the straight. Once again, he spots it to see these guys. Going to go side by side, but moves in the braking zone. Goes to the inside line. Baiting Zingy a little bit there. That is not ideal for Luke, and Luke is going to lose the positions as well. He goes back to the racing line, but this time he's got a car behind him. He's got to be really careful with that moving while he was braking. And Zingy's going to take the position. He does have Quibus right behind. He has to get into the DRS here. Otherwise, he's going to be in a bit of trouble with that Haas, who could start to push. Really going to gain in the corners with the medium tyre. Although the medium tyres are getting kind of old at the moment, Quibus could get an advantage here if they're not careful. And all of a sudden, Zingy's now got no ERS, and they are the captain of the train. Very intense stuff here. In the meanwhile, Dougie Falcons has caught up very slightly. I don't know if it'd be enough. We've got guys that are in PJ fighting behind Casper and Benjamin, of course, as well. But these guys are the ones that we have to focus on at this stage of the race. Looks like Sven's done enough, and Quibus is going to be absolutely thirsty for blood. Got to make sure that he's got enough ERS for the final few laps. Of course, we're on the penultimate lap already of the race, absolutely powering through. Jacob Adamczak is absolutely dominating this one. 3.9 seconds in the lead on that medium tyre. He hasn't been seen for quite a few laps. Quibus has got 1 lap to plan this out and 1 lap to execute the move. He's got a lot of pressure on him. Oh no, and Zingy's made a mistake! Zingy makes a mistake and he's gonna lose it! I don't believe it! Makes a mistake and down the order he goes! Luke could be in for a surprise here! He could get this position back! Quibus is looking at a P2 if he can stay in the in the time penalty range of Sven. Zingy makes a mistake. Zingy in P4. Luke just behind, gonna save a little bit of ERS. He could be pretty rapid here as we head to the final lap of the race. Zingy got no ERS to use. I don't know about Quibus. Has he got any to use? He has. He's got some to spare. Zingy could be in trouble here on the straights. And he goes for a braking maneuver. I don't believe it. I do not believe what I've just seen. What a way to end the race. That's not going to work. I know we got another lap, but that's not going to be legal, my friend. I'm very sorry. That's not going to play nicely into your hands after all. And it's all very confusing into the braking zone. Has to leave the space for the Alfa Romeos. They all a little bit squirmy. And the Alfa Romeo looking for a move to the outside. Zingy, meanwhile, finds some opportunity to escape. Sven could also escape from this. He could gain a lot if these guys fight too hard. I don't know what's going to happen. Into the braking zone they go. Luke takes the advantage. A switchback is available for Quibus. He's not able to get it right now. He's so close, and that was very interesting for Luke there. I'm not quite sure what they're thinking. Into the brakes there as Quibus was trying to look for maybe a bit of a dive, but interesting situations going on. DRS available. He's going to be absolutely rapid. Dives to the inside line as Luke opens the door, but it's not going to be enough. I don't quite know. We'll watch. We'll see. Quibus is catching. He's got the slipstream. That's all he's got right now. DRS will be available, but to who? They try and break as early, but as late as they can. Quibus has got it, and I think he might have him. Jacob Adamczak comes round the final corner to win on debut. Zingy takes P2 after all. Sven will drop down to P4. Luke manages to get him in the end. Luke gets the position. Well done to him. Sven P5, Nifo finishes in P6. Dougie Falcons recovering up to P7, but they lost the position to their teammate. Unfortunately, PJ and Geisler following closely. Right behind they go. Cisco in P10. And then we have Casper Sky and Benjamin at the back of the field fighting at the very last lap. But oh, Benjamin is into the wall and out of the session. That is a hard hit. That is a hard hit. But it doesn't matter. This guy is the man to watch. What a legend he was today. And after all that from Zingy, all that fuss he made, he's gonna made it a Mercedes 1-2. How about that? What a race. Whew. Wow. Zingy gets driver of the day. I should think so. I should think so. Second to last of the grid. Manages to get to second place overall. Very impressive indeed. Just waiting for those results. Getting that confirmation. There is Jacob Adam. Zach doing a phenomenal job today. Very, very well deserved. That's Jacob taking the win. Zingy in P2, Luke in P3. We have Kribus taking P4, Sven, Nifo, followed by Dougie Falcons, PJ, Geisler, Cisco, Casper Sky, and Benjamin finishing off the grid. Of course, Casper getting the fastest lap, DNFing for Eager Pro, Dave in Philemon, and Matthew Riley earlier on in the race. Just trying to have a look at the time penalties, and then we'll quickly skim through the race director just in case we need to later on. And then we should be good to go. We'll be back in a minute for the post-race interviews. We'll see you in a bit. Hello, Ryan. Welcome back to LSI F1 Championship. We're today for the post-race interviews of the Italian Grand Prix. What a race we just had. As always, it is a very, very crazy one at Italy. This guy, though, dominated it. We saw you have some very, very nice battling throughout the middle of the race. In the start of the race, of course, as expected with the hard tyres, it's a little bit of a rough start, but no surprise there with that whitewall tyre. But later on in the race, no one saw you. How was that? Did you enjoy it?
Well, at first, the first lap was chaotic. Yeah, I got too much wheel spin on the start. Even though I practiced starting on the hards, it just didn't go my way. Same with quali, to be fair. I killed myself on the lap where I was improving by more than 2/10, probably after Ascari. But yeah, it was enough, so that's good. That's a good point.
Do you think you could have got into the 18 seconds?
Yeah, I think, to be fair, if I would have pitted and went for new softs, I think I would have been able to do 18.8, maybe even.
Mm-hmm.
I felt really strong during the quali today, so as shown by my first lap, which was enough.
yeah, fair enough.
But the first few laps were chaotic and just hard because the tires weren't gripping. When I was letting, I think it was Haas of Quibus go and Red Bull on softs, they just didn't want to overtake me, which was really bad because I just wanted to, drag behind them and just get up to the leaders because I already lost like 2-3 seconds to them.
Mm-hmm.
But after that, when the hards went into the play, I just went on the rocket ship to cruise and try to do the overcut as much as I could.
Yeah.
And to be fair, the pit stop was perfectly timed. I went out, I think, behind the Williams of PJM,
mm-hmm.
which actually wasn't bad, just because my tires were cold, so there was no way I could overtake him on the first lap. And when I got that DRS and I was about to overtake him, he pitted, so there was no better timing, to be fair. And after that, just catching up to the two guys ahead and being really, really patient on the overtake for the lead. I could have done it I think before the Ascari and after Ascari, but I knew there was counter attack then straight away on the first straight, so not worth it.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, just pulled away, controlling the pace, went for the fastest lap attempt. Unfortunately, the Alfa Romeo on softs got it, but yeah. And Zingy today, goddamn, he was on fire as well. 15th second.
Yes, two sectors. He went to 15th to 6th place.
Yeah.
On the first lap. That's pretty insane.
It's amazing. We're looking at the team we have at Mercedes right now. I can't be happier, and I know that Zingy feels the same because we talked right after the ending, and yeah, we're both still shaking after this one too, because it was planned. We were joking about it earlier, but yeah, just an amazing race, and thank you to everybody that raced because it was just pleasure.
Yeah, well done today. That was really, really good. The next one, Canada, it's going to be another strong one for the DRS. Do you think you can do well there? Are you confident there?
Yeah, I feel really good on Canada. Basically, my race pace on every track is technical or precise. It's gonna be the best. Street circuits or circuits like Canada, technical, very precise. I'm on a wheel, so it's just easier for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I should be up to pace, and I'm aiming for another podium at least.
Yeah, fair enough. A really awesome job. You deserve that one. Completely. I don't really know what to say. Utter domination. Once again, Mercedes return to where they belong. That's going to cause a lot of controversy. Thank you very much, Jacob. And one last question. How do you describe your race in 3 words? Alrighty. So that one will go to Nifo, a non-Mercedes fan. Hello, Nifo. Really tough one. Obviously, no, you didn't really enjoy this kind of style of circuit. So, do you think you did what you could? Do you think you did the best that you could have done?
Well, I think in quali I could have fought for at least P2, or actually pole if when I saw that the guy that was on pole he messed up his lap, so I had 2 purple sectors and then I messed up Ascari and then I went to push on through Parabolica, went wide, lost all my time, and that was the lap. So I think I started P6 or something, so that wasn't ideal. And then into turn 1 it was chaos. There was a Haas on my right. I couldn't turn, so I got overtaken there. And then Zingy overtook me into Lesmos. And then the unfortunate happened that I thought he was going to brake later, but he broke right at the exact same spot he was supposed to brake at. I just broke too late, so I hit him, and I had damage, and that just ruined the race overall. I just had no cornering at all. I did on purpose. I did 1-0 instead of 0-0, just because I wanted a bit of cornering, and then all that was lost with that. So at least, if I look at what was possible with the 5 seconds lost in the pits, I think I maximized it, but without the damage, I think I could have been higher up.
Yeah, fair enough. It's a shame, but it is what it is. We knew that you didn't say you particularly liked the circuit going into it, so you made the best out of a bad situation. Canada, I'm not sure how you feel about this circuit. I've seen you race, and you're pretty good at Canada. Do you think you can do well there?
It's going to be 50-50. It's either going very well or it's going to go very wrong. So let's hope it's going to go very well.
That's Canada for you. Well, one last question. How would you describe your race in 3 words?
Break earlier, please.
Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time. Well done today.
Thank you.
And we move on to PJ. PJ, you had some nice battles. At the end, of course, you had a pretty intense one. Can you take us through it?
So unluckily qualifying went wrong, but nearly throughout the whole race I had a nice battle with Gisela, or I don't know how to pronounce the name. Geisler.
Yeah.
And probably after the pit stops, I was every lap 1 second behind him in the DRS window. And then we switched positions so many times, but then I was few laps behind him, saving a lot of ERS, so I can overtake him the penultimate lap with a lot of DRS, with him trying without him possible to try to re-overtake me in the first corner. But it was really, really nice battle with him and really, really fair. And I only spun once, which cost me 10 seconds, and without this spin, I would have been close to the guy in P7 and close to the rest of the field. And I think I had pretty good pace.
Yeah, fair enough. I'm glad you had a good battle, of course. So was that P8, if I'm correct?
Yes, P8 in the end for me.
Still points then, especially after a tough weekend last time around with, of course, the red flag. But points and a lovely battle. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Canada, next one.
Yes.
Street circuit. Do you like Canada?
I would say I like Canada. With the new layout, which has also been to the last year's game. But yeah, there are still, the walls are closed, so possibly many front wings gonna be changed. But I'm looking forward to it.
I'm sure Williams, with the new sponsor, will have enough money to pay for that, so don't worry about it. All right, thank you very much. And one last question: how would you describe your race in 3 words?
Well-deserved points.
Well done. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you. Goodbye.
And we move on to Geisler. Geisler, you had a nice battle with PJ. Can you take us through it on your POV?
It was pretty much the whole medium stint. We had a little battle. There was an Alfa Romeo in front of me, which I tried to get in the DRS, and at the moment I did with using a lot of ERS. But then that Alfa Romeo spun, so I had no DRS anymore in front of me, and that made me vulnerable for PJ behind me, and that using of ERS also fucked me in the end.
Yeah, a sitting duck on the straights. You still enjoy it at least though, in the end?
Yeah, I really did. It was really fair, and not really a lot of contact. Only when he overtook me a little bit, a nudge soft in on his ass, but the rest was clean.
Yeah, fair enough, fair enough. Awesome. Really good to see you in F1, of course, as well. So thank you very much. Don't know if you're going to be racing next week, but Canada, do you like the circuit personally? Is it a good track for you?
Well, I don't know for sure because I'm not really using no line for that long.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it would be a challenge if I join that one, but I don't think I will.
Fair enough, fair enough. I mean, from personal experience, Canada's one of the circuits that you do actually have quite a few braking markers, so we'll see. I hope you managed to get up the pace on that one, but yeah, really well done today. Thank you very much for putting on the show. One last question: how would you describe your race in 3 words?
Debut 2 points.
Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time. Well done today, legend.
Thank you.
We move on to the finals. You, Ben. The ending was quite spectacular, to say the least. You had some battles as well. I think you were quite close to Casper. Can you take us through the race?
No, it was lonely. I had a rubbish start because I lagged. Everybody was about 100 metres ahead of me, so that was lovely. And then I got to turn 1 and it was an absolute disaster there, so it was a run off. Apart from that, I just followed along, spun. It was pretty lonely, but until the end, I don't know, you were racing Casper, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
racing him. Knew I was going to lose anyway because I had 6 seconds of penalties, but on track I thought I might as well have a go. And I defended for a few laps, and then coming to the end, I think he slowed down a bit, and I was determined to win on track, so yeah, I tried to pull a bit too much corner speed than possible.
Yeah, unfortunately I think that was caught on camera, but still, you went out with a bang. Framed. Yeah, you turned to 50 quid. The next one, Canada, do you like that circuit? I think you've had a pretty good track history around it.
I don't think so. Not at the moment.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Too many walls and braking zones.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Fair enough. Well, thank you very much. Great to see you here. And one last question: how would you describe your race in 3 words?
Lonely. That's it. I need one.
Fair enough. No, lonely. That's it. Awesome. Thank you very much.
Spectacular.
Thank you very much. We'll see you next time. Well done today. And that's been it for the post-race interviews. Thank you very much for watching. It's been a pleasure. We will see you next week for the Canadian Grand Prix and the F1 Championship. We'll see you tomorrow for the F1.5 EU and NA/SA Championship. We'll see you on Tuesday for the open lobbies or the practice sessions if you'd like to get involved, of course. Other than that, it's been a pleasure and good night.
We gotta go to the waiting room. Okay, I'll wait there. Before I start ranting.
Oh man. I didn't expect to get an interview. I just wanted to listen to everybody. I didn't want to be lonely. I didn't want a fucking interview, man. I had nothing to talk